Welcome to vbud.ai. You've tuned into The Deep Dive, the show where we take your sources, peel back the layers, and really unearth those surprising nuggets of knowledge that help you feel truly well-informed. Today, we're embarking on a fascinating journey, quite literally, actually. We're going deep inside the incredible, often overlooked world that powers us from within the human digestive system. Before we unpack this marvel of biology, just a quick word from our sponsor. This deep dive is brought to you by Stonefly, your trusted solution provider and advisor in enterprise storage, backup disaster recovery, hyperconverged VMware, Hyper-V Proxmox cluster AI servers, SA365, a turnkey security appliance, public and private cloud. For more information, you can explore their solutions over at stonefly.com. Now, back to our mission. Today, we're going on a deep dive into the intricate anatomy, the surprising functions, and the unseen inhabitants of our digestive tract.
We're talking about everything from how a simple bite of food transforms into the energy that fuels your entire body, to the incredible second brain nestled in your gut, and the trillions, literally trillions, of microscopic co-pilots that influence far more than just digestion. Get ready for some serious aha moments, because this journey through the gut is packed with them. Okay, let's unpack this incredible journey. When we talk about digestion, it's not just one single event, is it? It's more like a complex symphony of processes, right? Starting even before food hits our tongue.
That's absolutely right, yeah. Digestion at its core is about taking the complex food we eat, all those fats, carbohydrates, and proteins, and literally dismantling them, breaking them down into incredibly tiny, usable building blocks that our blood can then, scoop up and deliver to every cell in our body.
Wow.
Think of it as a kind of two-pronged attack. First, we have mechanical digestion, which is the physical breaking apart of food into smaller particles.
Like chewing.
Exactly, churning in the stomach. This is crucial because it vastly increases the surface area. And that makes the second prong, chemical digestion, far more efficient.
Okay.
Chemical digestion is where powerful digestive enzymes get to work on the molecular structure, degrading those ingested compounds into their basic absorbable units.
So where does this remarkable journey physically begin for our food? I mean, obviously the mouth, but...
It truly begins the moment food enters the mouth. But even before that, it's fascinating. Just the smell or even the thought of food can kick things off. Yeah, stimulating your salivary glands to produce saliva. Once that food is in your mouth, though, your teeth, tongue, and salivary glands all spring into action working together. We have three main pairs of salivary glands, the parotid, submandibular, and sublingual glands, along with hundreds of minor ones, all contributing to saliva production.
And saliva is more than just water, right? It's got some secret weapons in there, some enzymes.
It really does. Saliva is amazing. It moistens, lubricates, and cleanses the mouth, which is important for speech and swallowing, of course. But beyond that, it contains powerful enzymes like amylase. Amylase immediately starts breaking down starches into simpler sugars like maltose and dextrose.
Immediately?
Yeah.
Like right away?
Right away. This initial step can actually account for up to 30% of total starch digestion even before the food leaves your mouth.
Hold on, 30% before it even leaves the mouth. That's genuinely surprising. I always thought the real work began much later, in the stomach. What does that tell us about the efficiency of this initial stage?
It tells us that digestion is a truly integrated symphony, starting far earlier than most people realize. That immediate breakdown isn't just a warm-up act, it's a critical, highly efficient kickoff. It primes the food for everything that follows. Saliva also contains lingual lipase, which begins the digestion of fats.
Ah, fats too.
Yep, which is a crucial process, especially for infants whose pancreatic lipase isn't fully developed yet.
So it's not just about breaking down food, but sensing it too, right? Like, taste isn't just for pleasure. It feels like a survival mechanism.
It absolutely is, yeah. Specialized taste receptors in our taste buds. They're found not just on the tongue, but also on the epiglottis and even the upper esophagus. They detect the 5 basic tastes. Sweet, umami.
That savory one.
That rich, savory taste, yeah. Bitter, salty, and sour. And you're right, this isn't just about enjoyment. It's a vital defense mechanism. Detecting bitterness or extreme sourness can act as a crucial warning, signaling potentially harmful or spoiled foods. Your brain makes incredibly quick decisions here.
Like safe or spit.
Pretty much, yeah, essentially deciding, is this safe to eat or should I spit it out?
And then the physical act of chewing, preparing the food for its next big adventure down the tube.
Exactly. Our teeth, with their incredibly hard enamel and dentin, mechanically tear and grind food into smaller pieces. This physical breakdown again increases that vital surface area for enzymes to work more effectively.
Right. More surface area, better digestion.
Precisely. The muscular tongue then actively manipulates the food, mixing it thoroughly with saliva to form a soft, lubricated ball called a bolus.
A bolus, okay.
And as that bolus is swallowed, a clever flap of elastic cartilage, the epiglottis, guards the larynx. Think of it like a perfectly timed trapdoor.
Uh-huh.
It folds down during swallowing to prevent food from entering the trachea and lungs, directing it instead into the esophagus.
A vital safety feature.
Absolutely. A strong cough reflex is our backup here, clearing anything that might accidentally try to go down the wrong pipe, a truly vital safety mechanism.
And then it's a remarkably controlled one-way trip, guided by some amazing muscular action. It's not just passively falling, is it?
Journey indeed. No, not falling at all. Once swallowed, the bolus enters the esophagus, which is typically about 25 centimeters long, roughly the length from your mouth to your stomach. This muscular tube connects the pharynx to the stomach. It's usually closed at both ends by upper and lower esophageal sphincters.
Like little gates.
Exactly, like gates. The upper sphincter opens specifically for swallowing, and both sphincters prevent any backflow. The key mechanism here is peristalsis.
Ah, peristalsis, the wave thing.
That's the one.
Yeah.
This is the rhythmic, alternating contraction and relaxation of smooth muscles that creates a powerful, wave-like motion, propelling food unidirectionally down the digestive tract. It's an incredibly efficient system that works whether you're standing up, lying down, or even, theoretically, upside down.
So essentially, your gut can move food even if you're standing on your head. It's not just gravity helping out.
Exactly. It's a powerful wave-like contraction that doesn't rely on gravity at all, ensuring food moves forward regardless of your orientation.
Wow.
It's why astronauts can still eat and digest normally in space.
And if that lower esophageal sphincter doesn't do its job properly, that's where we get that uncomfortable burning sensation, right? Heartburn.
That's precisely right. The lower esophageal sphincter, guarding the stomach entrance, must remain tightly constricted to prevent stomach contents, which are highly acidic, from re-entering the esophagus. A failure here is exactly what we know as heartburn or acid reflux. It's a common issue that really highlights the critical importance of this seemingly small muscle.
So once the food has passed through this expertly managed pipeline, the stomach is next. And this is where things get really intense, isn't it? I hear it's like a super strong acid bath. A true chemical processing plant.
It absolutely is. The stomach is a J-shaped organ that functions as both a vigorous mixing chamber and a temporary holding reservoir for food. Its environment is incredibly acidic, designed to break down food and eliminate pathogens. Millions of gastric glands in the stomach lining produce gastric juice, a vital fluid containing hydrochloric acid, or HCl, and pepsin.
Hydrochloric acid? That sounds serious.
It is. HCl is unbelievably strong enough, in fact, to dissolve certain metals. Its primary roles are to kill microbes that might have come in with the food and to denature or unfold proteins, preparing them for enzymatic breakdown.
So the acid's like the initial tenderizer. But what exactly are these enzymes doing? Are they like tiny molecular scissors, and how do they know which proteins to target?
That's a great way to put it. Yeah, they are indeed highly specific molecular tools. Specialized chief cells in the stomach secrete pepsinogen, which the strong HCl instantly activates into pepsin. Pepsin is the enzyme that initiates protein digestion, literally chopping those long protein chains into smaller fragments. There's also gastric lipase, which starts breaking down fats, although it's less efficient than the lipase that comes from the pancreas later on.
Okay, so proteins and some fats get started here. But how does the stomach avoid, digesting itself with all that acid and enzymes?
That's a crucial question. It has a remarkable defense mechanism. A thick, slimy layer of mucus, also secreted by specialized gastric glands. This mucus forms a robust protective barrier against self-digestion, ensuring the stomach doesn't eat itself. It's quite amazing.
So the stomach isn't just a static container. It's constantly moving the food around, too, like a vigorous blender.
Precisely. Peristalsis continues here, but it's much more vigorous than in the esophagus. These powerful muscular contractions churn the food and mix it thoroughly with the gastric juices, transforming that soft bolus into a thick, semi-liquid paste called chyme. While most nutrient absorption happens later in the small intestine, the stomach does selectively absorb some substances, including water, alcohol, and certain medications like non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs or NSAIDs.
Interesting.
After about 1 to 2 hours, maybe longer depending on the meal, the chyme is gradually released into the small intestine through a muscular valve called the pyloric sphincter. This process, known as gastric emptying, is carefully regulated to ensure the small intestine isn't overwhelmed by too much acid or too much food at once.
A very controlled release. Makes sense. So once that intensely processed chyme leaves the stomach, it hits the small intestine. And this, I understand, is where the vast majority of nutrient absorption takes place. This is where the real magic truly happens for getting fuel into our bodies.
You've got it. The small intestine is unequivocally the true powerhouse of nutrient uptake. And despite its name, which might imply smallness, it's actually the longest part of our entire GI tract, averaging an incredible 3 to 5 meters in length in an adult. Imagine that, all coiled up inside you, doing such vital work.
3 to 5 meters. That's a serious amount of tubing for a small intestine. And it's not just one continuous uniform tube, is it? It has distinct sections, each with its own specialized features.
That's right, and each section has specialized features that contribute to its overall colossal function of absorption. It's divided into 3 distinct parts: the duodenum, the genome, and the ileum. The duodenum is the most proximal, meaning closest to the stomach. It's also the widest and shortest section, measuring about 20 to 25 centimeters, and it's C-shaped, curving distinctively around the head of the pancreas.
C-shapes, okay.
What's absolutely unique about the duodenum is that its submucosa contains special glands called Brunner glands. These are crucial because they secrete bicarbonate to neutralize the highly acidic chyme arriving from the stomach.
So the duodenum is like the body's brilliant defense mechanism right at the entrance. Dealing with that super strong acid, imagine highly corrosive stomach acid, strong enough to dissolve metal, suddenly hitting the delicate lining of your small intestine. It would be devastating. So these Brunner glands act like tiny bicarbonate pumps.
That's an excellent analogy. Releasing a flood of alkaline solution to instantly neutralize that acid. It's like having a built-in fire extinguisher.
Protecting the rest of the intestine.
Exactly. Ensuring the sensitive intestinal walls are protected and the environment is just right for the next stage of digestion. If that neutralization doesn't happen, the downstream segments, which are far more delicate, would be severely damaged.
Okay, so after the duodenum neutralizes things.
Then you have the jejunum, which is the middle segment, roughly 2.5 meters long. It's characterized by prominent plicae circulares, also known as circular folds.
Plicae circulares. Fancy name.
Yeah, or valves of Kirkering. And villi. It often appears redder and thicker walled than the other segments due to its high vascularity, which makes sense given its primary role in absorption.
Right, lots of blood flow needed there.
Then finally, the ileum is the most distal segment, around 3 meters long, terminating at the cecum where it meets the large intestine. The ileum has more mesenteric fat and a higher concentration of specialized lymphoid nodules called pyre patches, essential for immune function.
Immune function in the gut. Interesting.
Oh yes, very important. And all of these segments are anchored to the posterior abdominal wall by the mesentery, a double peritoneal fold that provides vital support, blood supply, lymphatic drainage, and facilitates immune surveillance throughout the small intestine. It's a truly complex and highly organized structure, perfectly designed for its role.
I've heard about villi and microvilli, which sound like something out of a sci-fi movie. What makes them so special for absorption? I imagine they're key to this organ's massive efficiency.
They are absolutely incredible, yes. They are the ultimate secret to the small intestine's enormous absorptive capacity. Imagine trying to absorb nutrients through a flat, smooth surface. It would be incredibly inefficient.
I'm trying to catch rain in a flat pan.
Exactly. That's where villi come in. They are tiny finger-like projections covering the entire mucosal surface of the small intestine, and they dramatically increase the surface area available for absorption. But it gets even more microscopic and more amazing. On the surface of these villi, the individual enterocyte cells have even smaller, hair-like projections called microvilli.
Microvilli on the villi, wow.
Yeah. This microscopic detail magnifies the surface area even further, allowing for maximal nutrient uptake. Together, these structures, when unfolded, give the small intestine an absorptive surface area roughly the size of a tennis court.
A tennis court inside me. That's astounding. So instead of a flat highway for absorption, our small intestine is more like a supersized, textured sponge designed to maximize every tiny bit of nutrient uptake. That's truly brilliant biological engineering.
It really is.
And it's not just about surface area. There are all these specialized cells doing different jobs, like tiny dedicated workers in a bustling, complex factory.
Exactly. The small intestine is a bustling city of specialized cellular activity, each type playing a vital, distinct role. The most abundant are the enterocytes, which line the villi and possess those crucial microvilli we just discussed. They are uniquely specialized for absorbing nutrients, acting like the main assembly line workers.
Okay, the absorbers.
Then you have goblet cells scattered among enterocytes, which secrete mucus. This mucus protects the mucosa from potent digestive secretions, lubricates food as it passes through, and even helps physically remove pathogens.
Like a self-cleaning, self-protecting system.
Precisely. And there's more. Panneth cells, found deep in the crypts, are like the gut's mini arsenal. They're constantly secreting powerful antimicrobial compounds, natural bug spray, if you will, like defensins and lysozyme.
Germ killers, right there.
Right there on the front lines. These are critical for our immune defense, actively fighting off any harmful microbes that might sneak past other defenses. And they also release growth factors to help keep the lining healthy.
But they're producing their own germ killers.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
Then we have enteroendocrine cells scattered throughout the epithelium. These act as sophisticated chemical messengers. They secrete hormones such as cholecystokinin, CCK, secretin, gastric inhibitory peptide, and glucagon-like peptide 1.
Hormones. From the gut lining.
Yep. All of which precisely regulate digestion, signaling to other organs when to release their digestive juices or slow things down. So these cells are almost talking to the rest of the body, telling it what to do next.
Coordinating the whole digestive orchestra.
That's a great way to put it. And we also have tuft cells, also known as brush cells, with their distinctive apical microvilli. These cells have a unique ability to sense luminal contents and can release signaling molecules, regulating immune responses, mucosal defense, and even epithelial repair.
Sensors and signalers.
Then there are M cells, or microfold cells, which are unique to the pear patches. These are like the immune system scouts. They sample antigens and microorganisms directly from the lumen, transporting them across the epithelium to initiate localized immune responses.
So they're chicken IDs at the border, basically.
Kind of, yeah. And speaking of pear patches, they are aggregations of lymphoid cells, especially abundant in the ileum, and are absolutely essential for the gut's robust immune function.
And the small intestine is constantly rebuilding itself too, right? I heard it has one of the fastest turnover rates in the body, which is incredible given how much work it does.
You're spot on. This rapid renewal is vital for maintaining a healthy functional barrier. Stem cells are located in the crypts, and these multipotent cells continuously proliferate and differentiate, ensuring a rapid renewal rate for the small intestinal lining. These cells last only about 3 to 5 days before being replaced, which is truly remarkable and speaks to the dynamic nature of this organ.
3 to 5 days.
Wow. And here's another surprising fact. Taste receptor cells, similar to those on our tongue, are also found in the duodenum and jejunum.
Taste buds in the intestine. Seriously.
Seriously. They express taste receptors that detect sweet, umami, and bitter tastes in the contents of the lumen. This suggests they may play a role in nutrient sensing and gut-brain signaling, influencing food intake and digestion beyond just the initial bite. It's like your gut has its own mini-tongue.
That's truly unexpected. So each part of the small intestine seems to have its own unique responsibilities too, almost like specialized departments within that absorption factory.
That's right. While they all contribute to absorption, they have specific focuses. The duodenum, as we mentioned, is the initial mixing and neutralization zone. It receives chyme from the stomach, bile from the liver, which is essential for lipid digestion, and a powerful cocktail of pancreatic enzymes.
Well, pancreas, right?
Yeah, via the hepatopancreatic ampulla and sphincter of Oddi, all designed to further break down the chyme. Its Brunner glands are key here, secreting bicarbonate to fully neutralize that stomach acid. It's also the primary site for dietary iron absorption.
Iron absorption. Okay, critical. So if you're not absorbing iron well, issues with the duodenum could be a factor. And the other two segments really pick up the pace for absorption.
Yes, the jejunum is the main stage for absorption of most carbohydrates, amino acids, and fatty acids. Its extensive plicae circularis and villi further maximize this process. Finally, the ileum, this last segment, is crucial for absorbing nutrients missed by the first two, and most importantly, it's where vitamin B12 and bile acids are absorbed.
Vitamin B12, that's a big one.
It is, and these bile acids are then recycled back to the liver to be used again, demonstrating the body's incredible efficiency and conserving vital resources.
Recycling bile acids.
Clever.
And speaking of bile and pancreatic enzymes, these accessory organs are absolutely vital to the small intestine's success, aren't they? They're not directly part of the tube, but they're indispensable collaborators.
They truly are. Indispensable. They provide the critical chemical components needed for digestion that the small intestine itself doesn't produce. Let's start with bile. It's a yellowish-green digestive fluid produced by your liver, and your liver churns out about 800 to 1,000 milliliters per day. Quite a lot.
A liter of bile a day. Wow.
Yeah. This bile is then stored and concentrated in your gallbladder, a small pear-shaped organ just beneath your liver. When you eat a meal containing fat, specific hormones signal your gallbladder to contract and release bile into the duodenum. The most important component of bile is bile salts, which emulsify fats.
Emulsify, like breaking them up.
Exactly. This means they literally break large fat globules into much smaller particles, like dish soap breaking up grease. This dramatically increases the surface area, making it far easier for digestive enzymes, especially pancreatic lipase, to do their job and effectively break down those fats. Bile also serves a vital function in helping your body eliminate waste products, like bilirubin, which is a natural byproduct of red blood cell breakdown. Bile acts as a carrier, transporting bilirubin from your liver to your intestines for elimination.
So bile is a multitasker, helping digest fats and getting rid of waste. And the pancreas, it sends a whole different set of tools into the mix.
It does, and it's truly a dual-purpose organ. The pancreas acts as both an endocrine gland, regulating blood sugar, and an exocrine gland, crucial for digestion. It delivers a powerful cocktail of enzymes to the duodenum, including trypsinogen and elastase for breaking down proteins, and amylase for carbohydrates.
More enzymes.
Lots more. What's smart about these enzymes is that they're often released as inactive precursors, called zymogens. This is a brilliant biological safeguard. It prevents them from digesting the pancreas itself.
Self-protection again.
Exactly. They only become active once they reach the intestine where they are needed. The pancreas also secretes aqueous fluids containing alkaline bicarbonate ions, which further neutralize the acidic chyme. This works in tandem with bile to protect the intestinal lining from acid damage, creating that perfect environment for nutrient absorption.
It's incredible how all these components work together in such a precise, coordinated dance. But sometimes, as with any complex system, things can go wrong. What are some of the common issues we see related to the small intestine that highlight its clinical significance?
That's where understanding this intricate anatomy and physiology becomes clinically significant, because when any part of this complex system falters, it can have serious consequences. For instance, conditions involving small bowel shortening or destruction, perhaps from surgery or disease, can drastically reduce nutrient absorption, leading to a wide range of impairments in various bodily functions.
That sounds incredibly debilitating. Not getting enough nutrients.
That's devastating, Imagine your body not being able to properly absorb the fuel and building blocks it desperately needs.
And I've heard of ulcers in the stomach, but they can happen in the small intestine too, right? In the duodenum?
Yes, unfortunately. Duodenal ulcers most commonly occur on the superior portion of the duodenum's posterior wall. A major risk factor for these is infection with Helicobacter pylori.
H. pylori.
That's the one. A remarkable bacterium that has adapted to survive the stomach's harsh acidic environment. If these ulcers erode completely through the duodenal wall, they can cause peritonitis.
Which is really serious.
Very serious. A potentially life-threatening infection of the abdominal lining, and can also damage surrounding organs, leading to internal bleeding or even organ perforation.
That sounds incredibly painful and dangerous. Are there any other rare but impactful conditions related to the small intestine structure?
Indeed. Wilkie syndrome, also known as superior mesenteric artery syndrome, or SMA syndrome, is a rare but impactful condition where the inferior portion of the duodenum, specifically its third segment, gets compressed.
Compressed. How?
This compression happens between the superior mesenteric artery and the abdominal aorta, like a nutcracker. This leads to duodenal obstruction, causing symptoms like persistent nausea, vomiting, and severe abdominal pain, particularly after eating. It's often seen in individuals with insufficient intra-abdominal fat, such as those with anorexia nervosa or certain types of cancer, where that protective fat cushion is diminished.
Wow. And what about something like Meckel disease? That sounds like a unique anatomical quirk someone might be born with.
Meckel disease is indeed a congenital condition, meaning present from birth, and it involves an ileal diverticulum, essentially a small abnormal pouch or blind-ended tube located near the ileocecal valve in the ileum.
Little pouch.
Yeah. While often asymptomatic and discovered by chance, it commonly presents in young males with symptoms like painless gastrointestinal bleeding, which can be quite alarming, or periumbilical pain that might mimic appendicitis. There's a helpful mnemonic device, the rule of twos, to remember its characteristics. Common in 2-year-olds, 2 times more likely in males, typically 2 inches long, located 2 feet from the ileocecal valve, occurs in about 2% of the population.
Rule of twos, easy to remember.
And may even contain 2 types of epithelia, often gastric, acid-producing, and pancreatic tissue, enzyme-producing, which can contribute to its symptoms.
Fascinating. And then there's Crohn's disease, which I know is a major chronic inflammatory condition affecting digestion.
Yes, Crohn's disease is a chronic inflammatory condition that most often affects the ileum, but importantly, it can occur anywhere along the entire gastrointestinal tract from mouth to anus, though it generally spares the rectum. It's a significant cause of chronic inflammation, deep ulcerations, and scarring that severely disrupts normal digestive function and nutrient absorption, leading to a wide array of debilitating symptoms for those affected.
Like pain and diarrhea.
Exactly, including abdominal pain, severe diarrhea, fatigue, and weight loss. These clinical connections truly highlight just how crucial the proper functioning and integrity of the small intestine is to our overall health and quality of life.
We've been mapping this incredible journey through the gut, from the mouth to the small intestine, and it's already profoundly complex. But what truly blows my mind is that this entire system isn't just a series of pipes and chemical reactions. It actually has its own, almost completely independent nervous system. Are we really talking about a second brain in our gut, truly capable of thinking for itself? Here's where it gets really interesting.
We absolutely are, yeah. The enteric nervous system, or ENS, is often referred to as the second brain, or the brain in the gut, and for good reason. What's fascinating here is its sheer complexity. It contains an astounding number of neurons, somewhere between 200 and 600 million.
Millions, like more than the spinal cord.
More than in your spinal cord, and over 20 different types of neurons have been identified so far, each with specialized functions. This intricate network operates entirely within the peritoneum, which is the lining of our GI tract, extending all the way from the esophagus down to the anus. It's truly an autonomous command center for digestion, operating largely independently of your main brain.
An autonomous command center in our gut. So it's not just passively reacting to what the main brain tells it to do. It's like it has its own intelligence.
Exactly. The ENS primarily controls the digestive system's intricate coordinated movements, like peristalsis, ensuring food moves precisely and rhythmically. It regulates gastric acid secretion in the stomach, manages subtle changes in local blood flow within the gut.
Blood flow, too.
Yep, to ensure proper nutrient delivery, and oversees the precise release of various gut hormones that dictate digestive processes. What's more, it even interacts directly with the immune system within the gut, playing a crucial role in defending against pathogens and maintaining gut barrier integrity. It's also important to note that this system develops during the last few months of gestation in humans and continues to mature significantly after birth, highlighting its fundamental role in our early development and lifelong health.
So how is this second brain organized? Is it just a jumble of neurons, or does it have a structured network similar to our main brain?
It's highly structured, yeah, like a miniature distributed brain itself. The ENS neurons are organized into thousands of ganglia, which are essentially clusters of neurons, much like mini processing centers. These ganglia are divided into 2 main plexuses, or networks, that run along the gut wall. First, we have the myenteric ganglia, also known as Auerbach's plexus.
Auerbach's plexus.
This network is organized around the gut wall, spanning its entire length, from the upper esophagus to the internal anal sphincter. It primarily contains motor neurons, which are crucial for coordinating peristalsis.
Movement, guys.
Exactly. Those rhythmic muscle contractions that propel food along the digestive tract. It ensures that food moves in the right direction and at the right pace, almost like a traffic controller for your gut.
And the other plexus, what's its role?
The second network is the submucosal ganglia, or Meissner's plexus. These are located specifically in the small and large intestines and are rich in primary afferent sensory neurons.
Sensory neurons, so they feel things.
They're the detectors. These are the cells that act like tiny detectors, constantly sensing chemical and mechanical stimuli from the food and drink. We ingest things like nutrient composition, pH levels, and the stretch of the gut wall. So they're constantly monitoring the contents and environment of the gut and sending information. The ENS also has interneurons, which are like the internal communication lines, facilitating complex communication within the system itself, allowing for sophisticated reflexes and coordinated actions without needing direct input from the brain.
So it's not just about simple reflexes. This second brain actually talks to our main brain. That's the gut-brain axis, right? This incredible two-way street of communication.
That's a critical point, and it's where the insights become truly profound.
Yes.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the connection between the gut, the ENS, and the central nervous system, CNS, is far stronger and more intricate than previously understood. This bidirectional communication is known as the gut-brain axis, and it's a powerful and constant conversation.
A conversation between gut and brain.
Absolutely. For example, the ENS can regulate complex reflexes, such as the vomiting reflex, which is particularly relevant in cases where vomiting is a side effect of medical treatments like chemotherapy. The gut sends signals to the brain that can trigger this response, highlighting its direct influence on our brain's control centers.
And this connection goes beyond just basic reflexes, doesn't it? I've heard about profound links between our gut health and our mood, and even serious neurological conditions. Is that truly the case?
Absolutely. This raises an important question. How much does our gut health truly influence our overall mental and neurological well-being? Recent studies are showing a profound link between an altered gut microbiota, sometimes called intestinal flora, and mental illnesses like depression and anxiety.
Depression linked to gut bacteria, wow.
Yeah, the communication signals exchanged along the gut-brain axis can directly influence neurotransmitter production and brain chemistry. This connection also extends to serious neurodegenerative diseases, including Alzheimer's and Parkinson's diseases. Emerging research suggests that gut dysfunction can even precede the onset of neurological symptoms in some cases.
Precede them, so the gut issues come first.
In some cases, it seems so. It suggests a holistic approach to health where gut balance is paramount for both body and mind. Stress, for example, is a clear illustration of this axis at work. Stress can directly impact colonic motor activity via the gut-brain axis, altering gut microbiota profiles. This can sometimes lead to lower numbers of beneficial bacteria like lactobacillus, and it can contribute directly to conditions like irritable bowel syndrome.
Showing how our emotional state can have a very real physical impact on our digestive system.
Exactly. It's a continuous dynamic feedback loop, reminding us that what happens in our gut doesn't stay in our gut.
So once the small intestine has done its phenomenal job of absorbing the vast majority of nutrients, the remaining material moves into the large intestine. What's the main role of this part of the system? It seems like it's the body's final recycling and compaction plant.
That's an excellent way to describe it, yeah. The large intestine, also known as the colon or large bowel, is about 1.5 meters or 5 feet long. By the time indigestible materials or chyme reach it, most nutrients and up to 90% of the water have already been absorbed by the small intestine.
80% of water already gone.
Already absorbed, yeah. So the large intestine's primary mission is to process this remaining indigestible food material, extracting what little useful elements are left, primarily water and electrolytes, and then preparing the waste for elimination.
So it's primarily about water recovery and waste management then.
Exactly. Its crucial role is absorbing the remaining water and electrolytes, a process largely driven by osmosis as water diffuses in response to an osmotic gradient established by active sodium absorption. Potassium and chloride ions are also carefully managed here, either absorbed or secreted depending on the body's needs, playing a vital role in maintaining our fluid balance.
Okay, water and electrolytes. Anything else?
But it's not just about water. It's also a vital site for producing and absorbing certain vitamins, particularly vitamin K, which is essential for blood clotting, and various B vitamins like biotin, folate, and thiamine,
Which are made by?
synthesized by the trillions of bacteria living within it. This helps minimize vitamin disparity, ensuring we get these essential nutrients even when dietary intake might be low.
That's quite a contribution from our internal residents. And how does it move all that remaining material along and form waste for elimination?
The colon has specialized muscular layers, an inner circular layer, and an outer longitudinal layer that contribute to its motility. We have what are called haustral contractions.
Haustral contractions.
Yeah, which are slow, segmented movements that essentially move food slowly from one pocket or haustra to the next. This rhythmic churning mixes the material for optimal water absorption. Then there are stronger, more coordinated mass movements that occur less frequently, perhaps only a few times a day, but these powerful contractions propel material quickly towards the rectum, effectively solidifying the material into feces.
Got it. So slow mixing, then big pushes.
Pretty much. The journey through the large intestine includes several sections. The cecum, which receives chyme from the ileum and where the appendix is attached,
The appendix.
playing a role in immune function. Then the ascending colon, the transverse colon, the descending colon, which stores feces and has a particularly dense bacterial population. And finally, the S-shaped sigmoid colon, which contracts to move stool into the rectum.
And the transit time here is much slower than in the small intestine, right? It seems to really take its time.
Yes, transit time through the large intestine is significantly slower, taking anywhere from 30 to 40 hours.
30 to 40 hours, wow.
Yeah, this prolonged time is absolutely crucial. It allows for the extensive reabsorption of water, but critically, it also allows for significant fermentation by the gut bacteria, which we'll delve into much more deeply in a moment.
The large intestine sounds like this highly specialized processing plant, but it's also home to an enormous population of bacteria, right? That's where the microbiota metropolis really comes into its own.
Absolutely. The gut microbiota in the large intestine is an ecosystem of astounding complexity, a true metropolis of microorganisms, and its health is fundamental to our own. This symbiotic relationship, where we host them and they provide us with vital services, is critical for many aspects of our well-being, far beyond just digestion.
What are some of the health issues that can arise when things go awry in the large intestine, highlighting its critical role in our health?
Many common conditions are linked to large intestinal dysfunction, yeah, and understanding the specific mechanisms helps immensely in diagnosis and treatment. Perhaps the most common functional gastrointestinal disorder is irritable bowel syndrome, or IBS.
IBS,
Right.
very common.
Very common. It's not necessarily inflammation or structural damage, but it's thought to be heavily influenced by psychological factors affecting the large intestine's motility via the autonomic nervous system. During times of stress, for example, those segmentation contractions can be either increased or decreased, leading to alternating bouts of constipation or diarrhea, causing immense discomfort and disruption to daily life.
So stress isn't just in our heads. It directly impacts the physical workings of the gut, causing very real symptoms.
Precisely. Another condition is Hirschsprung disease, also known as megacolon. This is a congenital disorder, meaning it's present from birth, where nerve cells, specifically those of Auerbach's plexus, are absent in certain parts of the colon's muscles.
Nerve cells missing.
Yeah. Without these nerve cells, the affected segment cannot relax and push stool forward, severely impairing motility, making it incredibly difficult to pass stool, and leading to a condition called megacolon, where the colon becomes abnormally enlarged above the affected area.
Wow. And I've heard of diverticulosis. Is that something that becomes more common as we age?
Yes. Diverticulosis involves the development of small, often asymptomatic pockets or pouches that protrude outwards from the colonic mucosa. These develop due to weakness in the colon wall, and it is indeed very common with aging.
Well, outpouchings.
Exactly, affecting over half of people over 60. Diverticulitis occurs when these pockets become infected or inflamed, causing significant abdominal pain, fever, and changes in bowel movements. A serious complication is if a diverticulum bursts, which can lead to peritonitis, a potentially fatal infection of the abdominal lining, requiring urgent medical attention.
Very serious. And what about colitis? That's a broad term for inflammation, right?
Yeah.
Are there different types?
It is, and there are several distinct types of colitis, or inflammation of the colon, each with different causes and implications. First, there's inflammatory bowel disease, or IBD, which encompasses both Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. While Crohn's can affect any part of the GI tract, as we discussed, ulcerative colitis is strictly confined to the large intestine and rectum. Both cause chronic inflammation and scarring, severely disrupting normal function and leading to symptoms like bloody diarrhea, abdominal pain, and weight loss. The exact cause is unknown, but is believed to involve an abnormal immune system response.
The immune system attacking the gut.
Essentially, yeah, where the body mistakenly attacks its own digestive tract.
So an autoimmune component there. What other types of colitis are common?
Then there's ischemic colitis, which is more common in the elderly and occurs due to decreased blood flow to the colon, leading to inflammation or injury.
Lack of blood flow.
Exactly. This can happen due to atherosclerosis, where arteries narrow, or from conditions like low blood pressure, blood clots, or even a bowel obstruction, essentially starving part of the colon of oxygen and nutrients. And finally, infectious colitis is caused by various viruses, bacteria, or parasites, often acquired from contaminated food or water. Common culprits include Escherichia coli, Campylobacter, Shigella, and Salmonella.
Food poisoning bugs, basically.
Often, yeah. A particularly significant cause is Clostridium difficile, or C. diff, often associated with antibiotic use. Antibiotics can disrupt the healthy gut flora, creating an opportunity for C. difficile to overgrow and cause severe, debilitating inflammation and diarrhea.
So antibiotics can sometimes cause problems too.
They can disrupt the balance, definitely. It truly underscores how critical a healthy and balanced large intestine is for overall well-being and how easily that balance can be disrupted.
We briefly touched on the bacteria in the large intestine, but this is truly a hidden world within us, a vibrant, complex ecosystem. How vast is this inner world of microorganisms?
It's mind-bogglingly vast. We host approximately 100 trillion microorganisms in our gastrointestinal tract. To give you some perspective, that's roughly 10 times more microbes than human cells in our entire body.
100 trillion. That's just incredible. I'm practically more microbe than human at that point.
Precisely. And while most of them are bacteria, this incredibly diverse community also includes yeasts, single-cell eukaryotes, viruses, and even small parasitic worms. The vast majority of these inhabitants reside in the large bowel, where they perform crucial functions like fermenting undigested food components, especially complex carbohydrates and fiber, and significantly contributing to fecal bulk.
And they're not just sitting there, are they? They're performing all sorts of vital processes, like tiny chemical factories.
Absolutely. Despite the fact that individuals can host hundreds of microbial species, and collectively human populations may harbor thousands, there's a surprising consistency at a functional level. Despite this individual variation in the specific species, the abundance of genes for basic metabolic activities is quite similar across people, suggesting a shared fundamental function that is critical to our health.
So we have different species, but they do similar jobs.
Largely, yes. Major bacterial groups include Bifidobacterium, Lactobacillus, Bacteroides, Clostridium, Escherichia, Streptococcus, and Ruminococcus. About 60% of all these bacteria belong to the Bacteroidates or Firmicutes phyla.
Names I've heard linked to health studies.
Exactly. They're often studied in relation to health and disease. And interestingly, methane-producing microbes, which are classified as archaea rather than bacteria, are found in about half of individuals, playing a role in gut gas production. This diversity allows them to tackle a wide range of compounds that our own bodies can't digest.
So these tiny co-pilots are doing more than just helping break down food. They're producing compounds that affect our health in surprising, profound ways.
Right.
This is where it gets really interesting.
That's where it gets really interesting, yes. The products of microbial activity can be incredibly beneficial, acting as vital contributors to our health, but some can also be harmful, highlighting the delicate balance within this ecosystem. One of the most significant and overwhelmingly beneficial products are short-chain fatty acids, or SCFAs.
SCFAs.
These are the major end products of carbohydrate fermentation by colonic microbes, and they are overwhelmingly good for us. Acetate, propionate, and especially butyrate are key energy sources not only for our colorectal tissues.
Feeding the gut lining.
Exactly, feeding the cells lining our gut, but also for other gut bacteria. Butyrate, in particular, promotes cellular mechanisms that maintain tissue integrity and potentially protects against colon cancer by regulating cell differentiation and programmed cell death.
So it helps clean up damaged cells.
Essentially, yeah. Helping to remove dysfunctional cells before they can cause problems. SCFAs can also influence immune function and reduce inflammation in distant tissues, showing their systemic impact beyond just the gut.
So they're literally feeding our gut cells and actively protecting us from disease at a cellular level. What else do they produce that's so beneficial?
Certain bacteria, like Bifidobacterium, are capable of synthesizing essential vitamins that our bodies can then absorb, including vitamin K, vital for blood clotting, and several B vitamins like B12, biotin, folate, and thiamine.
Making vitamins for us.
Right inside us, which are crucial for energy metabolism and nervous system health. This is a remarkable contribution, minimizing vitamin disparity when dietary intake might be low. Gut microbes also produce a vast array of enzymes, crucial for degrading complex polysaccharides, those complex carbohydrates like dietary fiber that our own human digestive enzymes can't handle.
Breaking down fiber.
Yes. For instance, bacterial phytases degrade phytic acid found in grains, releasing minerals like calcium and magnesium, making them available for our bodies to absorb.
It sounds like they're helping us unlock nutrients we couldn't get on our own, making our food even more nutritious.
Exactly. And there's even a complex hydrogen economy within the gut, where some bacteria produce hydrogen and others consume it. Methane-producing archaea, for example, can influence the production of beneficial SCFAs, which raises fascinating questions about the health implications of these different microbial balances.
But not all microbial products are good, you said.
No, unfortunately not. When there's an increase in protein fermentation, especially when fermentable carbohydrates are low, microbes can produce putrefactive products like ammonia, hydrogen sulfide, phenols, and indoles.
Putrefactive. Sounds bad.
It can be. These compounds have been implicated as cytotoxins, meaning they harm cells, genotoxins, meaning they can damage DNA, and even carcinogens, linked to diseases like colorectal cancer and inflammatory bowel disease, particularly in the distal colon.
So the balance is absolutely key. Too much protein fermentation, especially without enough fiber, can lead to problems. And I've heard about something called LPS, which sounds like trouble.
It can be. Lipopolysaccharide, or LPS, is a component of the cell wall of certain gram-negative bacteria, and it's a potent inflammatory agent. High-fat diets, for example, can increase circulating levels of bacterial LPS, which then triggers systemic inflammation linked to metabolic diseases like insulin resistance.
Inflammation throughout the body.
Yes. This may occur by increasing intestinal permeability, sometimes referred to as leaky gut, allowing LPS to pass into the bloodstream. Similarly, the colonic microbiota transforms primary bile acids, which our liver produces, into secondary bile acids. Increased levels of these secondary bile acids, often linked to high-fat intake, are potentially carcinogenic and have been implicated in the development of colorectal cancer and other GI diseases.
It's clear that these tiny organisms are not just passive passengers. They are incredibly active participants in our health, for better or worse.
Indeed. There's a strong bidirectional interaction between our host immune system and the microbiota. For example, some butyrate-producing bacteria, like Faecalibacterium prosnitzii, may produce anti-inflammatory compounds,
Fighting inflammation.
directly modulating our immune response and helping to calm inflammation. This highlights the direct and profound role of gut bacteria in immune regulation and how their activity directly influences our body's defense mechanisms and overall inflammatory state.
So it sounds like our diet and even our daily habits have a huge direct impact on this complex microbial world inside us, like we're constantly guarding our inner ecosystem. What's the connection between what we eat and how our gut microbes behave?
The connection is profound, yeah. The composition and metabolic activity of our gut microbiota are profoundly shaped by what we consume and how we live. This then has significant ripple effects on our overall health, influencing everything from digestion to immunity and even mental well-being. Let's look at how macronutrients, the big components of our diet, play a critical role. Carbohydrates are the principal carbon and energy source for colonic microbes.
Food for the microbes.
Exactly. Dietary fiber, a type of carbohydrate that we can't digest ourselves, is absolutely integral to a healthy diet. It increases digestive mass, which helps dilute toxins, reduces pressure in the colon, and shortens transit time.
All good things for bowel health.
Absolutely. And critically, fermentation of carbohydrates by microbes produces those beneficial SCFAs we talked about, which lowers the pH in the colon, creating an environment that inhibits the growth of pathogens and leads to a healthy proliferation of beneficial bacteria, fostering a thriving microbial population.
So fiber isn't just about regularity. It's literally about feeding our good bacteria and creating a protective environment. What about protein? Can too much of a good thing be bad for our gut microbes?
It can be, potentially. While essential for our diet and building blocks for our body, an increase in protein intake, particularly from red and processed meats, can lead to more fermentable substrate reaching the colon. This can, in turn, increase putrefactive fermentation products like ammonia and hydrogen sulfide. These compounds are associated with a greater risk of DNA damage in colonic mucosa, especially when fermentable carbohydrate intake is low.
Which is common in Western diets, right? Low fiber, high protein.
Often, yes. So the balance is crucial. Some studies even link L-carnitine, which is abundant in red meat, to products that might increase atherosclerosis risk, highlighting the broad, sometimes unexpected impact of dietary choices beyond the gut itself.
And fat. Does it play a significant role in shaping this microbial world, too?
Absolutely. High-fat diets can increase circulating levels of bacterial lipopolysaccharide, or LPS, which is that potent inflammatory agent linked to metabolic diseases.
Right, the inflammation trigger.
Yeah. This may occur by increasing intestinal permeability, sometimes referred to as leaky gut, allowing LPS to pass more readily into the bloodstream and trigger systemic inflammation. Dietary fat also influences the amount of bile acids reaching the colon, and those secondary bile acids produced by gut bacteria from primary bile acids are potentially carcinogenic and have been implicated in colorectal cancer and other GI diseases.
So high-fat diets can have multiple negative impacts.
They can, yes. On a more positive note, polyphenols, found abundantly in colorful foods like grapes, grains, tea, cocoa, and berries, generally promote health through their antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects. When they reach the colon, our resident microbiota metabolize them into bioactive products, further enhancing their beneficial influence on our health.
Eat your colorful fruits and veggies. It's not just food, though, right? Our life stage, from birth to old age, and even things like stress, can profoundly influence our gut microbiome. It's a dynamic, ever-changing ecosystem, not a fixed landscape.
That's absolutely right. The microbiome isn't static. It constantly evolves throughout our lives and is highly responsive to a myriad of external and internal factors. Consider early life. Gut colonization begins during or shortly after birth. And interestingly, natural vaginal birth leads to higher bacterial counts and a more diverse microbiome in infants compared to C-sections, which initially introduces more skin bacteria.
So how you're born matters.
It seems to influence the initial seeding, yes. A robust gut microbiota in early life is crucial for proper immune system development. Breast milk, specifically its oligosaccharides, acts as a powerful prebiotic,
Feeding the good bugs again.
promoting beneficial lactobacillus and bifidobacterium, which can strengthen the immune system and potentially prevent conditions like eczema and asthma. Significant shifts in microbial populations occur when infants transition to solid foods as their diet diversifies.
So the foundation of our gut health is laid very early on. And what happens as we get older? Does our gut microbiome age with us?
Indeed. As we age, there's a broad shift in gut micropopulations. For instance, bacteroidetes may decline while firmicutes increase, and overall diversity can often decrease. Elderly individuals, especially those in long-term care settings or with less varied diets, can show reduced microbial diversity and a higher prevalence of potentially harmful bacteria.
Linked to frailty.
Yes, linked to increased frailty, decreased immune function, and nutritional changes in older adults.
Beyond diet and age, what about lifestyle factors? Things like smoking or exercise.
Yeah.
Do they really have a measurable impact on our inner bacterial world?
They absolutely do, and the impact is significant. Smoking and lack of regular exercise are well-known risk factors for conditions like colorectal cancer, and they can also significantly impact gut microbiota composition.
How so?
For example, smoking has been shown to increase certain harmful bacteria and decrease beneficial ones even in healthy people, and it can exacerbate inflammation in those with Crohn's disease. Stress, as we touched on earlier, via the gut-brain axis, can profoundly alter colonic motor activity and microbiota profiles, potentially contributing to conditions like irritable bowel syndrome by leading to lower numbers of beneficial bacteria like lactobacillus and promoting an imbalance.
It's astonishing how deeply our daily habits are intertwined with our gut health. And how does something like obesity tie into this intricate picture?
Obesity is strongly linked to shifts in gut microbial populations, often showing increases in firmicutes and decreases in bacteroidetes. This shift might actually contribute to greater energy harvest from food.
Getting more calories out of the same food.
Potentially, yes, making it easier to gain weight from the same amount of calories. High-fat diets are a significant driver of these shifts, increasing bacteria associated with poor health outcomes and promoting chronic inflammation throughout the body. Even geography and environment play a role. The diversity and composition of gut microbiota vary significantly across different populations, profoundly influenced by distinct dietary patterns. Consider the stark difference between rural African plant-based diets and typical Western diets.
Huge differences there.
Air pollution and poor sanitary conditions can also impact gut health. And surprisingly, even disruptions to our internal body clock, our circadian rhythms from things like travel across time zones or shift work can alter gut health and microbial populations.
Even shift work. Wow. Showing just how interconnected our lifestyle is with our internal ecosystem. This all really highlights the concept of mucosal health and the idea of a leaky gut, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It sounds like maintaining a strong, intact gut barrier is a critical line of defense for our entire body.
It absolutely does. This raises an important question. How do we maintain the integrity of this crucial barrier that separates our internal environment from the trillions of microbes in our gut? Our GI tract epithelium is lined by a protective layer of mucus, produced by goblet cells and stimulated by beneficial SCFAs from our gut microbes. This mucus acts as a vital physical and chemical barrier against microbial invasion.
Mucus barrier.
Yes. The inner mucus layer is actually generally bacteria-free, acting like a pristine inner sanctuary, preventing direct contact between microbes and our delicate epithelial cells. However, overutilization of mucus by certain bacteria or reduced production can thin this barrier, making it more vulnerable.
So if that barrier is compromised, what exactly happens? It sounds like the leaky gut theory.
Precisely. When the integrity of this barrier is lost, it's commonly known as leaky gut, or more technically, increased intestinal permeability. This means the tight junctions between our epithelial cells.
The Velcro.
Exactly, which normally act like super strong Velcro, preventing the passage of bacteria, toxins, and undigested food particles into our tissues, become compromised and loosen. A loss of this integrity can have serious consequences because it allows substances that should remain safely within the gut lumen to translocate or pass into the bloodstream and other tissues, triggering systemic inflammation and potentially immune responses throughout the body.
And what kinds of diseases or conditions are linked to this impaired gut barrier? It sounds like it could have far-reaching effects.
It really does. An impaired gut barrier has been linked to numerous diseases, demonstrating the widespread impact of gut health beyond just digestion. For example, in Parkinson's disease.
Parkinson's.
Yes, increased intestinal permeability and bacterial infiltration often precedes central nervous system degeneration, suggesting a potential pathway for the disease where gut issues contribute to brain issues. It's also been linked to conditions like autism spectrum disorder, various kidney diseases, type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, metabolic syndrome, obesity, and liver diseases like non-alcoholic fatty liver disease.
A huge range of conditions.
It is. This concept really emphasizes that gut health isn't just about digestion. It's fundamental to our systemic health and disease prevention, a cornerstone of overall well-being.
Given how much our diet and lifestyle influence our gut, what can we do to actively optimize this inner ecosystem? This is where concepts like prebiotics and probiotics come in, which we hear so much about these days.
These are indeed nutritional strategies aimed at improving the composition and activity of our colonic microbiota to promote host health. While they sound similar and are often discussed together, they work quite differently. Let's start with prebiotics. Prebiotics are selectively fermented ingredients that escape digestion in the small intestine and reach the colon mostly intact. Once there, they selectively stimulate the proliferation and/or activity of beneficial indigenous bacteria already residing in your gut.
So prebiotics are literally like specialty food or fertilizer for our good bacteria, helping them thrive.
Exactly. You're feeding your existing beneficial microbes. The most well-known prebiotics are short-chain non-digestible carbohydrates like inulin-type fructans, fructooligosaccharides, FOS, and galacto-oligosaccharides, GOS.
Found in things like onions and garlic.
Exactly. Found naturally in everyday foods like onions, garlic, bananas, asparagus, and various cereals, fruits, and vegetables. Resistant starch, found in things like cooked and cooled potatoes or green bananas, also qualifies as a powerful prebiotic. These are strongly linked to improved bowel habits and better absorption of essential minerals like calcium and magnesium. There's growing evidence that prebiotics can modulate the immune system and reduce the risk and severity of inflammatory bowel conditions and functional bowel disorders like IBS.
So potentially very beneficial.
Yes. The concept is even expanding beyond just targeting bifidobacterium and lactobacillus to include other beneficial bacteria like Ruminococcus bromii and Faecalibacterium prausnitzii, revealing a much broader potential for shaping our microbial community.
And then there are probiotics, which often get confused with prebiotics. How are they different, and how do they actually work inside our bodies?
Probiotics are distinct because they are live microorganisms that, when administered in adequate amounts, confer a health benefit to the host.
Live bacteria.
Live bacteria, yes. In essence, instead of feeding your existing good bacteria, you are directly introducing new beneficial bacteria into your system. The most commonly consumed probiotics belong to the Lactobacillus and Bifidobacterium genera, found in many fermented foods like yogurt and kefir or in supplements. Their mechanisms of action are diverse and include augmenting our immune function, reinforcing the crucial mucosal barrier by helping to tighten those leaky junctions, reducing the transfer of harmful substances to the host by competing with pathogens.
Outcompeting the bad guys.
Yeah, increasing antibody production and direct antagonism of pathogenic microorganisms, essentially outcompeting or even producing compounds that inhibit bad bacteria.
It sounds like a lot of potential potential benefits, but I hear results can vary widely from person to person. Why is that?
You're right. Study results can indeed vary significantly, and that's often due to differences in the specific probiotic strains used, the doses administered, and critically, the individual's baseline health status and existing gut microbiome composition. It's clear that probiotic efficacy is often highly strain-dependent rather than just species or genus-specific.
So the specific strain really matters.
Immensely. This means not all lactobacillus strains, for example, will have the exact same effect. It truly comes down to the specific strain's unique properties and how it interacts with a particular host. It underscores the complexity and the ongoing cutting-edge research in this fascinating field.
So we've learned so much about this incredibly complex system, from the initial bite in the mouth to the bustling microbial cities in our large intestine and the amazing gut-brain axis. But despite all these breakthroughs, what are the big unanswered questions? What do scientists still need to figure out to truly unlock the full potential of gut health?
This raises an important question. What stands out to you, the listener, as something you'd want to explore further? Because despite all the advancements, there are still many significant gaps in our understanding of how diet, lifestyle, gut microbes, and human health intertwine. For example, we need a deeper understanding of the specific functions of the many poorly characterized microbes in our gut. We know who's there, but not always exactly what they're doing.
Their exact jobs.
Exactly. How they break down food and how their byproducts truly influence health and disease.
It's like we've identified the cast of characters, but we don't fully understand their roles in the play.
Precisely. And while most research focuses on the large bowel, the role of bacteria in small intestinal conditions like enteropathies, which are diseases of the small intestine, and leaky gut in that region is still unclear, partly due to the difficulty of accessing these areas for study in healthy individuals without invasive procedures. Understanding which specific foods or dietary components actively strengthen or weaken the mucosal barrier is also crucial.
For tailoring diets.
Exactly. For tailoring diets to prevent inflammation caused by microbial and toxin translocation, this could lead to incredibly personalized and effective dietary advice for maintaining gut integrity.
And what about that gut-brain axis? We know it's powerful, but are there specific mechanisms or communication pathways scientists are still trying to map out?
Absolutely. Pinpointing which of the many microbial products actually cross the gut barrier, reach the central nervous system, and precisely influence mood, satiety, and gut motility is a major area of ongoing research.
With huge implications for mental health.
Huge implications, yes. And for appetite regulation. We also need to understand the origins of the vast inter-individual differences in gut microbial profiles. Whether genetics, early development, or environmental factors play a larger role could lead to truly personalized dietary interventions. Moving beyond a one-size-fits-all approach and the extent to which long-term dietary patterns can fundamentally shift microbial populations beyond just temporary changes needs further investigation to understand true lasting impact.
It sounds like there's a lifetime of research still ahead. A vast frontier of discovery right inside us.
Indeed. Less is known about how specific micronutrients like vitamins and trace minerals impact the gut and its microbes. Additionally, the physical structure of food and how it's cooked can influence how accessible nutrients are to both our host enzymes and microbial enzymes.
How cooking changes things.
Exactly, which is a fascinating area of food science. Ultimately, we need more precise knowledge about which specific microbes and their functions are truly beneficial to effectively develop and deliver more targeted probiotics and prebiotics. Moving beyond the broad brushstrokes to truly precise interventions for optimal gut health and preventing disease, the more we learn, the more empowered we become to nurture this hidden world within.
Phew. What a deep dive. From the intricate dance of enzymes in our mouth to the bustling microbial cities in our large intestine, and the subtle yet profound conversations happening along the gut-brain axis, our digestive system is truly a frontier of discovery. It's a powerful reminder that our inner world is constantly active, adapting, and influencing every single aspect of our health and well-being.
It truly highlights just how interconnected everything is.
Yeah.
The next time you sit down for a meal, perhaps you'll think about not just what you're eating, but how that food will nourish not only your body, but also the trillions of microbial friends living inside you. Consider the profound power of your dietary choices to shape your unique inner ecosystem, and how maintaining a healthy gut isn't just about digestion, but about overall well-being, both physical and mental, creating a foundation for a healthier you.
That's certainly something to chew on. And that brings us to the end of this deep dive. If you're looking for advanced technological solutions to support your enterprise, remember our sponsor. Stonefly offers trusted solutions for enterprise storage, backup disaster recovery, hyper-converged VMware, Hyper-V Proxmox Cluster, AI servers, SA365, a turnkey security appliance, public and private cloud. You can find more information at stonefly.com. Thank you for joining us on the deep dive on vbud.ai. We hope you feel a little more well-informed and a lot more curious about the amazing biology that powers you every day.